members of the 33rd Guam Legislature, I want to thank you for allowing me to submit my real brief testimony on this. I've been on Guam for nearly 20 years, and I deliver about 8,000 or more babies. So that's a lot of moms, a lot of babies. So I see the pain that each mother goes through each time they get pregnant, and the strength that they go through, that they need during the postpartum period. And needed to slave labor is one of the most intensive. That's what they call labor. I mean, it's intensive, and but it is the most happiest moment in the lifetime of any generation you go through. I mean, without women, there'll be no humanity. You know, without women, there wouldn't be no life. Period. So God's given them a beautiful anatomy that's able to give birth. And so with that, I think at least all of them can appreciate that. But let's not punish them because they have that gift to give life. So I think it's important that the recovery period for the mother, in my professional opinion, it has to be a minimum of 30 days. And 20 days is just not enough for this day and age. And 45 days for cesarean section. And complicated deliveries, I'm glad Senator Torres has added the recovery period for complicated deliveries, because there are complicated deliveries. Not all pregnancy will go as normal and anticipated. So I'm sure that I don't need to go into details of each and every delivery and what complications there are. But ultimately, this carries over to the workplace. If you have a healthy mother, a healthy child, and a healthy recovery period, the workplace is going to be a healthier place to work. And that will increase, productivity. And for every employer, that's what you're looking for, is a healthy employee. Now, research also showed that paid leave increases the likelihood that the workers will return to work rather than quitting. And women in the workforce has come a long way. I mean, they've broken the glass ceiling. In medicine, they broke the glass ceiling. Back in the 50s and 60s, maybe a few medical students were women. Now, over half the class are women. So I think we need to retain them in the workforce. And even Gulf Guam. I think Gulf Guam, we have women that's a speaker is a woman now. So I think and eventually maybe there'll be a woman governor. So I think it's important that we recognize women as being part of our workforce, and they're going to continue to be. And they may overtake men someday, if not already. So I think we need to address the needs for them. And being pregnant is a tough decision. Some may argue that being pregnant is an elective thing, but certainly being pregnant is a privilege. And there are women who can get pregnant, but when they do get pregnant, we shouldn't punish them by saying, okay, you can only have 20 days of leave. That's just inappropriate. So I think with that being said, I just want to submit my written testimony, which is very, very brief. But I totally support strongly this legislation, Bill 248. In the substituted version, if I could, I haven't read the entire substituted version, but I would just like to mention that paternity leave is also important. I think fathers being next to moms in recovery is important. But we also need to make sure there's no abuse of that. Because there are fathers who get women pregnant and they just leave and they don't come back and support the mother. And I've seen that happen. So you need to make sure that if there is a provision, paternity leave, that provision should not be abused. That they be there for the mom in recovery. So I don't know how you're going to address that, but that's something that you have to address. And it's being gender neutral, I think is a good thing. Adopted parents are the same thing. Although adopted parents may not have the opportunity that they have to go through the childbirth process, but certainly the bonding aspect of it may be a little bit more difficult because that's not their natural birth child. But then again, we also need to make sure that there's no abuse of the adoptive side too, making sure that they're there for their adoption. That said, I want to open up just a few medical questions if you have.